to be the very best version of yourself.
By providing you with practical and tangible tools to live a healthy lifestyle.
To learn more about us, go to www.tfalandchi.com.
And now, enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Health and Wellness 360 with TFal Chi. We're so excited to be here with you today. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, thank you. If this is your fourth or fifth time, thank you for joining us for this fifth episode of Health and Wellness 360 with TFal Chi. Please type in where you're joining us from, and thank you for sharing your Saturday morning with us. Some intros. I am TFal. I am an infectious disease physician, an internist, a podcaster, author, and wellness coach, and the other half of TFal Chi. I'm joined here with my husband.
Yes, and I'm Chi, and I'm glad to be here today. I'm a health and wellness expert with decades of experience with a focus on nutrition, exercise, and mental health. And at TFal Chi, our mission is to empower you, your friends, your family, and your loved ones to be the very best versions of yourself by introducing healthy tips that are sustainable you can leverage. You can find us, like my wife said, at www.tfalandchi.com. Like us on Facebook at TFal Chi, as well as on Insta. Thank you, and let's dig into the show today.
Yes, so this is our fifth show, and we're excited to be talking about healthy eating, the when and the how. So for those of you who followed us, we've talked about why we need to eat healthy. What does that mean? And we're going to dig a little deep to answer some of the questions that have come up since the show to wrap up our section on healthy eating. And then in the following weeks, we're going to move on to some super fantastic, exciting episodes. So today we're going to talk about healthy eating, wrap it up, and make it make sense. Is going to be about cholesterol, why you need to know your number. What does that mean? Why is it important? So healthy eating, we're going to dive right in and tie that in. So Chi, I'm going to ask you the very first question.
Let's do this.
When is a good time to start eating healthy?
Good question, TFal. So when is a good time? So the best time to start eating healthy is as soon as you can eat. Literally as soon as you can eat. Because, just think about this. We have about 25 to 35 billion fat cells that we're born with. Our fat cells would only increase with size in adulthood and increase with numbers in childhood. So it's best to start in childhood to set those healthy habits, eating healthy, and when you're a child. So for those who have the ability to make decisions in terms of produce purchase and food purchase, making sure that whoever you're caring for and yourself, you start those when in childhood. But it's never too late, even as an adult, to begin to have those healthy eating habits. So we have, clients that we're dealing with, and that we work with at the moment who are in the 60s, who have made significant changes in their health and seen good results. Wow. So adulthood, childhood is the best time, but it's never too late.
Wow, you bring up excellent points about starting, and if we have the fortune of being in charge of kind of the next generation, feeding them the right things early, but never too late to make those changes. Wow, thank you so much.
It's never too late. So we talk about the idea of fasting. And intermittent fasting, and in terms how that relates to healthy eating. Can you share our belief system around that as TFal and share what we do and what we believe in that space?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. So IF, or intermittent fasting, is something we've gotten a lot of questions about. Sure. And there is a lot of science behind it, and it's something that we do. So couple of things, three things before we delve into IF is to understand that one, digestion and the process of after we eat takes work, and our bodies need time to repair. Two is that calories that we don't burn and use up for what we need to do for that functioning get stored as fat. And the third thing is that our bodies like routine. So if we keep giving it calories 24/7, it's going to use the new calories and not tap into our stores. So when we know those three things, it allows us to understand what intermittent fasting and why there might be benefits, and there are benefits in science. One of the things that we know is that fasting is a time for our bodies to repair and renew. There are different kinds of fasting, and that's a whole topic of a show. One of the things we subscribe to is the 16/8. So if you look at a 24-hour cycle, having a 16-hour period where your body is not consuming calories and eating during that period. There are other things, people do 12/12, couple of days on, couple of days off. But the physiology behind that is to allow your body some time to rest, to renew, and repair. Now, I always say this with any kind of program, that you always want to clear with your physician and know about that before you start any kind of program. So what are the benefits? And I'll do that very briefly.
Sure, let's
talk about 5 benefits of intermittent fasting. Sure. One is that we talked about your cells get to repair and renew. There is decreased inflammation during that process. Inflammation has been linked to chronic diseases, so there is a decrease in pre-diabetes, and diabetes has been linked to intermittent fasting. The third thing is that your metabolic rate increases, and also your cravings and your hunger decreases over time because you're secreting hormones that control your satiety better. Leptin is stimulated, and ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone, is downregulated. Right. The other thing is that by decreasing those cravings, it leads to weight loss, and that's usually the only benefit people think about. Right. So it's good for your skin, it's good for your organs, but it promotes weight loss because if you do intermittent fasting correctly, you're usually eating less calories if it's done well. You're drinking more water, which is a good thing. Your cravings are less, your hunger is less, and you're able to burn fat. Because now during that period of fasting, your body taps into stored fat and uses that and converts that into energy. So those are just some of the benefits of IF.
Right. So as you just heard that, so intermittent fasting doesn't mean you're going to be hungry.
No.
It doesn't. Because a lot of times, we feel that because we're fasting, we're going to go hungry. No, you don't. Your body begins to regulate.
Correct.
And begins, hunger goes away. Your body begins to repair. Bad cells that are degraded are flushed out of your system.
And the fat gets pulled from the areas where we've been storing fat because our body thought we needed it, and then starts being converted to energy. So that is amazing. Yeah. So one of the things that we'll talk about is juicing. That's something that people have asked about and has come up as questions as the last show about juicing. So tell us, what is juicing and what are some of the benefits of that?
A good question. So juicing, I'm going to say what juicing is and what juicing is not. So juicing is a process of extracting pulp from fruits and vegetables. All right. So there has to be an extraction. Blending and smoothie making is different because blending and juicing and blending and smoothie making involves dairy. When you juice, no dairy is involved. There's a big difference there. And juicing, when you juice, you get soluble fiber. Wow. Soluble fiber is one of the key ingredients in getting you to good cholesterol level.
Which we're going to talk about later.
So think about it again. Soluble fiber, get about 75% of soluble fiber when you do juice because it extracts and it gets flushed right into your system. And juicing has several benefits.
Okay.
Weight loss, clarity of mind, mental health, removes issues like headaches, your skin gets better, you feel better about yourself inside and outside. It changes so much. And also it is involved actually also in degradation of bad cells as well. So you think about this, you couldn't eat a whole bowl of kale or a whole bowl of spinach or a whole bowl of carrots, right? But when you juice that, you can get all that into your system in a quick and efficient way. So juicing is a very quick and efficient way of changing your lifestyle very quickly and also feeling good inside and out.
You nailed those because of all the phytonutrients in your fruits and vegetables and all the vitamins. all compressed and get into your system. That is phenomenal.
Quick, it's like a quick injection to your system.
That is also, and something that we do with fruits and vegetables, a lot of vegetables.
A lot of vegetables. And as we go on in our show today, I'm going to ask, because we'll talk about, how do you make choices, good choices, when you go shop and you're in the grocery store. So, TFal, I'm going to ask you to share with us, how do you make those choices while shopping? Because there's so much out there.
Yes.
Right.
And we've talked on our previous shows about all the added sugars. You said 70% of food, packaged food in the US is added sugar, a lot of trans fat, things that our bodies don't know what to do with that lead to overeating. So a couple of quick things in terms of...
real quick, TFal, we have a question, but we're going to answer that question
right after.
Just in a bit. So
okay, great.
We'll answer that question in a bit.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how do you make those choices? Proactive always beats reactive. So going in proactively, having your list ready is number one. That's before you go in. Second thing is when you get in, start at the periphery, start at the edges. The edges, start on your vegetable aisle and go nuts with the colors. The variety of colors, the greens, the purples, the berries, the fruits, the vegetables, the leafy vegetables, the carrots, all the colors, the bell peppers. Start there, get your fruits and vegetables. Go to the aisles that have like your fish, your poultry, all of that stuff, right? If you do have to go in and get other things, things like oatmeal, other things are in packages, it's important to know how to read those labels. Unfortunately, the guidance on food labels is the same. So I challenge you when we're done on this show, pick up anything in your pantry, a box, a bar, whatever it is, anything in your fridge, the labeling is exactly the same. And when you become a savvy person to be able to understand what you're looking for, it allows you, because there's a lot of confusion. So the first thing is the C. It says the calories, right? It tells you the calories per serving and then calories for the whole package. And sometimes we don't think about that. It says 120, you're like, that's not bad. But the bag has 6 servings. So that's 700 calories out of a 2,000 calorie day. So that's important. Calories. And then the rest of it is exactly the same on everything. It's F, C, S, C, P. So it always says fats and it tells you saturated, unsaturated. The next thing it tells you is cholesterol. It actually gives you a line specifically for cholesterol because that's important to our health. Then it gives you S for sodium. So that's important when you think you're like a low calorie, look at the sodium content and the cholesterol content. And then the next thing it does is carbohydrates. And that's important, tells you about fiber and also added sugar. So look at that line on added sugar. And then the last part is usually protein. So you want to look at protein, you want to look at all those continents, and they all are listed no matter what the thing is. So it's important to know your fruits, your veggies, your produce, they don't have food labels on them. They're real. They're real. You can tell what it is. So you want to shop on things that are as close to the original. So get the apples, not the taffy apples covered with caramel. Usually they have them right next to each other. Get the natural things and then know how to look at added sugar and things like cholesterol and being able to read all that stuff. It's a lot of added stuff that's in there, but that's important as you make those choices and not going shopping hungry. Making sure that you're not hungry so you're not just picking up everything along the aisle.
That's amazing the way you talked about that. So remember the key things here. Over 75% of what you find in the stores have added sugar. If you think about that, you begin to make those good choices in terms of going towards produce, more natural foods. Begin to think about this in those terms. Less sodium, more of the raw nature. So you want to think about more plant-based foods.
Correct.
In terms of living a healthy lifestyle.
Our producer had a question.
We have a question.
We're going to get back to.
What's that question? Let's put a question up if we can. And says, can you juice while your fasting window, or is it best to drink water during your fasting window? Good. So good question. So you can drink water throughout your fasting window. Water does no impact. It's actually a good idea.
It is.
To stay hydrated.
Correct.
While you are going through your fasting window and while you're juicing as well. So we say yes for water at all times. at all times. And
yes.
You want to add to that?
So no, that's great. You want to drink, you can drink water, you can drink coffee, as long as your calories are less than 50 calories and you're not adding a lot of stuff during that, because once you put a lot of sugar or things into your system, your insulin starts to get secreted and your body says we're eating again. So during that fasting window, water is good, coffee, tea, all of that. And then juice, depending on what it is, if it's a lot of veggies, okay. But if you start to put a lot of fruit in there, then you can have that as a way to break your fast. And that's a great question about when your fast breaks. And a lot of people get intimidated about fasting. But if you think about it, if you eat dinner at 8 p.m., and you don't have breakfast till 8 a.m., that is already a 12-hour fast. And a lot of people start that way, literally dinner and breakfast. The problem is we're all snacking after dinner. While we're watching Netflix and catching up on Hulu, we're snacking till midnight or 1 a.m. So our body just is constantly doing stuff. So 8 p.m., 8 a.m., no snacks after dinner, you're already a 12-hour fast. You don't even have to do anything different.
Yeah. And there's a question here. We're going to do this question, then we're going to go to our lightning round session. So the question is, just got here, how long does intermittent fasting last? How about folks who get lightheaded when they miss a meal? So what we suggest is, because of the window could be an 8-hour window, a 12-hour window, you don't have to, when you're starting, you can do a 4-hour window in terms of fasting. So until you get to that window of 12, we don't want you to be lightheaded. And again, to begin intermittent fasting, be sure to clear it with your physician if you have any underlying conditions. But start small, and then you can open up your window.
Correct.
All right?
And our body adapts very quickly. Our body does, and we'll get back to that if we have time. So we're going to go, thank you for your questions. Thank you for the interaction. We're going to go to lightning round now. So first question, and this week, he's on the hot seat. So if you haven't caught some of our other shows, last week I was on the hot seat. This time he's on the hot seat. So first question, if I do IF, which is intermittent fasting, we talked about, I can eat anything during my window. So I fast for 12 or 16 hours. In those 8 hours, do I just go crazy?
No, you can't just eat anything because you're fasting, right? Or when you're coming out of the window fasting. You just like think about this. It's just like saying, I can smoke because I just went to the gym. No, those two things are not congruent, right? So the answer is no. You want to still keep eating healthy when you come out of your fasting window. So we, encourage a healthy lifestyle during fasting, pre and post fasting. So,
okay, but I'm going to do a quick question after that. So what would be a good kind of stuff to start off when you break your fast? What are some healthy things for that first meal?
Sure. So you want to, make sure you're adding proteins. You want to make sure you're adding vegetables. You want to make sure you're adding complex carbohydrates. Things like oatmeal, not packaged, but they still cut oatmeals in the rawest form. So you want to make sure you're getting your food groups in, your proteins, your vegetables, your nuts, your complex carbohydrates. And when you have sugar in there, make sure it's complex sugar that comes from veggies and from fruits. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, let's go to the next one.
So second question, once I have a chronic medical condition, which a lot of people do, what I eat doesn't matter, right?
No, the answer again is no. So when you have a chronic condition, that's actually a window of time to begin to eat as healthy as you can, because vegetables and fruits and complex carbohydrates provide your body nutrients to fight, antioxidants to fight, and fight for you while you're infirmed or there are issues going on. So you want to make sure that you actually increase the vegetables and nutrients in your body when you're not feeling well or when you have a chronic condition, because that helps your body to fight at that period of time.
And I ask you that question because a lot of people assume that once I'm prescribed medications, the meds are doing everything, I don't need to do anything. So we actually encourage that. And that is obviously prevention is always better than cure. But once you're on, you want to do things that are good for you. And thank you, producer Ellis, for putting that up. We used that the last time. If it rots, it's good for you. So thank you.
We have the best producer.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Ellis. The next question I have is, so I'm eating my salads. I'm taking your advice. I'm eating my salads. It's colorful. It's beautiful. I can add any kind of dressing I want, right? I can douse it with dressing. It kind of balances out, right?
No, again, to all the questions today, hey, what can I say? The answer is no. So if you have your salad in front of you and you douse it with store-bought dressing, it becomes junk food. It literally turns into junk food. So because you have a bowl of salad, you can actually make your own homemade dressings, or if you using olive oil, using fruits like lemon, lime, and if you can make those at home on your own, make sure that when you are at the store buying the store dressings, you are buying those with the least amount of sugars and fats in them, because they're laden with sugars and fats in the stores. So think about that when you're out there making this choice.
So you gave us very quick olive oil, because that helps with absorbing the nutrients from the veggies, and also the fact that you can just squeeze lemon. And one of the things you like to do is if you want that creaminess, to use avocado. So that becomes like the store-bought Caesar dressing.
Yes.
So if you, depending on what you want. So that is phenomenal. So my quick one after that was, then what happens with so you're saying I can't have my sodas with that? I mean, I fasted and now I'm soda.
I'm going to wrap this up real quickly. Then we're going to go to a Make It Make Sense segment. So sodas are empty calories. For us, we say is exact no for sodas. Sodas increase your ability to to get diabetes. We don't want that. Sulfuric acid eats up your joints as you age, and osteoporosis sets in. So you want to stay away from soda as much as you can. There is not even those that say zero calories. No, those still have sugars and things that impact your insulin level, and fat, and obesity issues as well. So be very careful about that. We say absolutely zero to sodas, and so that's that. So we're gonna go. We're running. We have about 8 minutes left. That's one thing that we love about this show. It goes quick. So we're gonna go to our make it make sense segment today, which is where we break it
make sense.
and today we're gonna talk about cholesterol, total cholesterol. So TFal, as a physician, what is cholesterol, and why is it important to understand your numbers? Okay,
so cholesterol gets a bad rap, but cholesterol is something that our body makes and that we need. So cholesterol is a waxy, like fat-like substance that our body makes that is essential for making hormones, part of body building our hormones, and also for breaking down fatty foods. So we need cholesterol. The problem is when the cholesterol level is too high. So cholesterol is something that we should have checked once you're over the age of 20, and the total cholesterol needs to be less than 200. So that is the number you want to know, your total cholesterol. On future shows, we'll break down a bit more about your good cholesterol, which is your HDL, your bad cholesterol, your LDL, your triglycerides. But today, we'll talk about total cholesterol. It needs to be less than 200.
Awesome.
And it's something that we need. So we really, as physicians, cardiologists, internists, we want you to not take in a lot of extra cholesterol, because your body makes all the cholesterol it needs. It's made in our liver, and our body uses it. So we want to, and foods like, poultry and eggs and all those things have a lot of cholesterol. So it's really important to know that the number needs to be less than 200. Why does it matter? Was your second question.
Why does it matter? Yes.
And when your cholesterol is really high, when your cholesterol is high, like we said, it's a fat-like substance. When it's high and it's not excreted or pulled out with the soluble fibers you talked about, then it deposits in our arteries. And when it deposits in our arteries, it causes what we call plaque, and the arteries get narrower. So all of a sudden, people have heart disease, strokes, and complications of high cholesterol. And that is such a big complication. So that's what happens. The cholesterol gets deposited, and over time, the plaque hardens, and it decreases how much blood flow to areas of the brain, of the heart, of the kidneys, all of that. And so that's why it's important to know the number, and also to know that it's important, because when it's high, it causes long-term problems.
Very good. And we're going to move real quickly because we've got 5 minutes left, right? So as a doctor, what can I do if I have high cholesterol? Real quick, in 10 seconds, what can I do to mitigate that?
First thing is you've seen your doctor, so you know you have a high cholesterol. As a doctor, what we do is figure out if you have other risk factors for heart disease and decide when you need medications. If you have other risk factors for heart disease like diabetes, high blood pressure, family history, smoking, obesity are other risk factors where if your cholesterol is high, any of those things, we start your medications right away in addition to healthy lifestyle. However, I'm going to turn it back to you because for all of our guidelines, when people come with high cholesterol, the first thing we do in any guideline say healthy lifestyle. Lifestyle management is the first part, and it says 6 to 12 weeks, and then come back to decide if you need medications, unless it's an emergency, like you've had a heart attack where we have to start right away. So what are some of the things we can do? You're the nutrition expert on lifestyle management of high cholesterol.
So real quickly, so you want high fiber rich foods. Very important. Soluble fibers, very important for cholesterol because it goes right into your cells and helps to pull that out. All right. So we want to think about the high fiber rich foods. Exercise, very important for cholesterol management as well.
Yes.
Foods rich in omega-3s, very important. Get your olive oil in there, get your avocados in there. Also, salmon is awesome. Thank you. My beautiful wife just mentioned that. So salmon is very important as well. So foods rich in olive oil, omega-3s, nuts as well are very important. Walnuts, and so on and so forth. So make sure you're getting foods rich in
all of those things.
Good fats to help do that.
Correct.
Okay?
And cutting out all the other stuff, like
sure.
with the high amounts of dairy. The egg yolk, and the red meat. All of those things are sources of extra cholesterol.
Sure. And as we begin to wrap up, because we're about to wrap up very soon.
Wow.
Yeah,
time flies.
Thank
you so much, guys, for joining us.
Yes. So remember, today we have over 90 million Americans dealing with elevated cholesterol of over 200, and about 29 million Americans dealing with cholesterol levels over 240. These numbers need to come down. We need you to help in that fight. Know your numbers. Help your family members understand their numbers. Your friends. This is why we have our merch here. It's in our store.
And this is why we focus on these 5.
Correct.
Cholesterol is one of them. Blood pressure, cholesterol, waist circumference, blood sugar. All of our prior shows we have hit one of these in our Make It Make Sense, because these are the things. The Center for Disease Control estimates that 6 out of 10 Americans have at least one chronic disease.
Yes.
And 4 out of 10 have 2 or more.
Right.
Which is why we do what we do. And we need you to be ambassadors in terms of sharing the message, tagging your friends, having people watch the show, learn from that, and taking the message out on the field as you're out there grocery shopping and things like that.
So you are what you eat, producer. Thanks for putting that up there. So, and you know where to find us at TFal Chi on Facebook and Insta. And also, please visit our website at www.tfalanchi.com. Remember, this message is for everyone. Share it with as many people as you can. Tag us, like us, share the message. We want as many people as possible to be touched. Come and watch us every 2 weeks. We're back again. When are we back again?
Yes, thank you for that prompt. We're back in 2 weeks, July 31st, 9 a.m. Central. And now that we've wrapped up healthy eating, we are going to be moving to the next one. We're going to be talking about exercise, or as we like to say, physical activity. And this guy, the fitness expert, is going to talk to us about everything you wanted to know, the myths around exercise, when, how, what it is, and all the things that are important. And we're going to be going to other things around sleep physiology, getting ready for your appointments, all of that stuff. So thank you for watching. Remember your purpose. Think, and when you go out grocery shopping today, think about those labels, think about where you shop, and know that the children that we have in our lives, we have the opportunity to change their trajectory.
Correct. Thank you so much. We love you guys. Thank you for supporting us. We couldn't do this without you. Please keep sharing the message, keep liking us, follow us.
Yes.
We love you. We'll see you again on our next show on TFal Chi here on Black Doctor.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you to our producer.
Yes.
And get out there and have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, thank you.